Hello, and happy Thursday to everybody. It's the first day of July. How about that? July 1st. Yeah, this year's 2021 is going by like a crack. And Sunday's the 4th. So, yeah, it's usually a good time. Summertime's usually good. But I hope you're all well. For those who have joined us live, and for those who are joining us via the recording, again, welcome. My name's Chris, and I'm your host for It's About Us, which is, I always like to say that if it's only me, it's not about us. You make it about us. So I thank you all for that. It's been warm. Yeah, it is definitely summertime. It's cooling. It's like 68 degrees right now here in Sacramento. But this was like the worst week in a long time for heat in the Northwest. 118 degrees in British Columbia. Give me a break, right? Terrible stuff. And maybe we'll talk about that a little bit tonight. So if you're here and you're watching, please leave a comment, say hi so that I can say hi back, and have a little conversation. That's the whole point of this, is to have a conversation. I love to talk, so I can continue going, but I do love to have a conversation. I'd rather have a conversation. In any event, let's talk a little bit about what's going on. So that means it's time for this. Okay, CJ's update. And if you're wondering, CJ, it's Chris Jensen. My last name's Jensen, CJ. And that all came about because I went to work at the Sacramento Natural Foods Co-op, and they already had two Chris's. Chris was an assistant store manager, and then there was a Chris who was working the register, and I would be the third Chris. And they said, look, we've got too many Chris's. You can't go by Chris. So I said, okay, I'll go by CJ. And so that's how I was known there. And it just seemed to stick. CJ sounds okay, right? CJ, DJ. Yeah, that works. So anyway, CJ's update. So what's new in my life? Well, I finished the big video I was working on, and tonight I want to show the trailer that I created, and we'll take a look at some of the video. I shared the trailer on my Facebook page, but not everybody, is a part of that. So I thought I'd go ahead and share that again tonight. So I got that done. I think it was like 2 months in the making. So I'm really glad to get that done. And because of that, I'm going to get back to my personal podcast, which I've started, ruminating about. So I'm hoping that maybe second week of July or middle of July, maybe sooner, but at least by the middle of July, I will have the first episode launched. I put out a little trailer. My Life and Welcome to It is the name of the podcast. And if you haven't listened to it yet, it basically is My Life and Welcome to It. And we've done two seasons. So I'm getting ready to launch season 3. And so you can find it anywhere podcasts can be heard. And it was actually the inspiration for this live stream, because after a while, I started it before the big COVID pandemic lockdown and all that. And after that took place, and I realized, it really is about all of us together. And so I started doing episodes called It's Not About Me, It's About Us in season 1. Season 2, I didn't do that. But so what I've done is I've created the live stream to be It's About Us. So anyway, so that's what's kind of new. Yeah. Okay. So let's do this. Let me pull up the, let's see if I'm going to do this. Should be able to do it like this. This is what I'm thinking. Yep. Here's the trailer. So here's the trailer. It's a little over a minute. And I hope you enjoy it. I had a lot of fun making it. I used a template in iMovie. I just plugged, video clips in certain language into it. But basically the trailer was made by iMovie. So here we go. I just realized there's a really good chance that you're not hearing any of that, because as I am often doing, is I'm not checking the little box that says share audio. So let's do that. We'll start it over. Okay, we'll start this over. So here we go. And we want the trailer. Here we go. So we're going to start this all the way over. Nope. Come on, back here. Here we go. One more time. not, that was the original music. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look real quick and see if I just can't find, yeah, let's do this. This is the trailer with the music that I went out and found and replaced. I replaced the original music. And let me get it. When I popped it on here, it started. So let me share this again, and we'll listen to it with the music that I was able to put into the trailer. And it's this one here, share audio, and it's this one here. Here we go. Nope, that's the old one. It's the other one. It's the other one. The other one. Come on, Chris, get it together. And there we go. And share the audio. And now let's try this one. All right, Chris, what's the problem here? Well, maybe this is the new one. Let's go all the way back and see. And it's not. So, you know what? That's the story of my life. Story of my life is, yeah, this is a video project I work on. This is the trailer. Hey, Uli, good to see you. Yeah, this is a trailer, and I'm trying to get, so, when I made a trailer for the movie using an iMovie template, and it had stock music, and I replaced it with some other music. So let me just see if I can't, and it should be this guy right here. So let me try this again. I'm going to put this up here like so. That's not it. And this one is also not it. So that's just a big fail on my part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and play some of the movie. Meanwhile, I'll look for the trailer because the trailer was a lot of fun. But, Murphy's Law takes over and I can't find it anywhere. So let me go ahead and just, we'll take a look at, this is how the movie is going to, it starts in quietly and you'll see how it goes. It's a long movie. It's about 57 minutes. So we're just going to look at it, just a brief part of it. See how it goes.
Hi, my name is Mike Bigelow. I'm the owner of Emma Bigelow and Company Organ Builders. And I've been asked to say a few words about our first organ, which we built almost more than 40 years ago. In 1978, we received a commission from Dr. David Rota, who was faculty at Chico State University. And I might add that I was just fresh out of my apprenticeship with John Brumbaugh back in Ohio. And it was quite a leap of faith for Dr. Rota to buy this instrument from us. Anyway, that was back in 1978. It took us about 2 years, and in late 1979, after more than 6,000 hours of labor on this instrument, much of which was volunteer labor, by the way, we installed the organ, originally designed for David Rota's house, but eventually he decided, no, let's put it in a church in Chico. And so we installed it in his church, the St. John Episcopal Church in downtown Chico. It was there for 2 years, and in 1981, it was moved to St. John the Baptist Catholic Church. Sally Stoner and her husband Walt were loved the organ and wanted it for their church, and with their support, we were able to move it to that church. And there it sits, and there it's been ever since. And we're just excited to have that instrument in such a beautiful church. Just a little bit about the organ itself. It was our first instrument, as I was saying, and it was the first organ in this country of any size that had what we call either or stop action. And that means that a stop can be registered on either manual, either the top or the bottom manual. And I was fascinated by that as an apprentice, and wanted to build an organ of that nature. So in Opus 1, there are 6 stops that in the manuals that can be registered on either the top or the bottom manual. Not both at the same time. That's the one drawback. But it works well for a small instrument. And just a little bit about the tonality of the instrument. It's basically a principal chorus with some flutes and a couple of reeds. And the temperament is the historic Kirnberger 3 temperament, which I learned and came to appreciate when I apprenticed with John Brumbaugh. And the visual, hopefully there will be a picture here show up of the instrument, and also the inspiration for this the visual design of the instrument, which was the historic instrument in Valère Castle in Sion, Switzerland. That dates from 1430. And that organ was fascinating to me and still is. In particular, there are carvings on that instrument that I love so much and tried to duplicate somewhat on this instrument, including going as far as gilding the carvings with real gold on top of gesso, using water to gild, and then burnishing the gold. So just delighted to introduce this instrument, the first instrument by Bigelow and Company, and hope you enjoy. Thank you.
And there you have it. That is the beginning of the almost hour-long video that I was able to work on. We might take a look at it a little bit more later on. It's it's very organ specific. Organ lovers probably would enjoy it, but I don't know a lot of people that probably would. And so there's 3 pieces. There's 3 pieces on the first organ, and then the tonal director of the organ company speaks for about 5 minutes. And then there's a second organ, and it's the one that's in Oroville, and it's got 4 pieces. And it's kind of interesting. There's a duet piano organ, and then there's an organ where 2 people are playing at the same time. It's called for 4 hands, organ for 4 hands. And there's this little gizmo called the Zindelstern, and it's a bell-like thing that turns at the top, and it makes this chiming sound. And you can hear it at the very end of the piece. There's a piece by Beethoven that they do. It's delightful. And then it gets a bit strange because we were hoping to get a third video to talk about the third organ, which is located in Grass Valley. And so we sent an email to the person who commissioned that organ, and they must have misunderstood what we were looking for because we didn't get anything. We got something, but it wasn't a video. It was just unusable. And eventually we came under a time constraint. We were getting close to publishing, and we had to get a video. And so it's kind of interesting how that all turned out. And then there's 3 pieces from the organ in Grass Valley. One of the pieces is a more modern sounding. It's by a guy named Hindemith. It's pretty cool music. And then the credits roll. And the first time I showed it to my friend Rex, who is the director of the video pretty much. And he said, "Hey, dude, you got to put your name on there as recording engineer and producer." So at the very end, I put in this kind of smaller font, recording engineer and producer Christian Jensen, which is kind of cool to see actually, and it's being shown. And we sent it to, I think the national chairperson for the American Guild of Organists, and he has sent it to the international. So who knows who's watching this and enjoying it. I hope they're enjoying it. Anyway, it was a lot of fun to work on. So maybe before the hour is over, we'll what I really would like to get to is that last section leading into the third organ and how that all went down. The videos of the gentleman speaking were sent to us. He's in Utah. And so I think his daughter filmed it and then sent it to us. And she did quite a nice job. I added a couple of things, but it was, basically their work. So that was cool. So we'll come back to that. One of the things, there's just a lot going on. And as I was thinking about tonight, I thought, let's just, I kind of like to get people's perspective on things other than my own. I see things a certain way. And one of the things that has happened is in Pennsylvania. So a couple years ago, 3 years ago, I think, Bill Cosby was indicted and convicted, sent to prison for sexual abuse. And this week, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court has overturned that decision. He is now a free man. Apparently, what has happened was that the original prosecutor for the civil suit said that if you give us a statement, we will not use it against you in the criminal case. And so Cosby gave some testimony for the civil suit. Well, then they got a new prosecutor who didn't feel that original promise was binding. So they used that statement in the criminal case to convict Cosby. Well, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court this week decided that violated Cosby's civil rights, so they overturned that decision. It's very controversial. There's nothing written in the Pennsylvania legal code that says that a promise made by one prosecutor is binding on a subsequent prosecutor. It does not exist. So that sets precedent. And who knows where this is going to go, right? But it's a big brouhaha in the legal community. It's hard for the victims, right? Now their victimizer is out of jail, and they're not getting the justice that they thought they were going to get, but on the other hand, there are people who were rooting for Bill Cosby and are happy that he's out. So there's 2 sides to this thing. And I'm always curious how people evaluate situations like that on their own with the limited information that we have. I mean, not being a lawyer or a judge or being in that courtroom or being in the proceedings and not knowing the full story, I can't make a totally informed opinion. I just do what I can with what I've got, right? So that was a big surprise. I got a friend who's a lawyer, and I talked to him this morning, and he said they were all confused in their office. So the original prosecutor made a promise that the subsequent prosecutor did not keep. So, but they didn't feel like they had to. They didn't feel like it was binding on them. And so they didn't keep it. If they had thought that it was a binding promise, then they would have kept it. And the Pennsylvania Supreme Court has made that ruling. So that's pretty weird. Pretty weird. Yep, that's the case. That is the case. I mean, here's the thing. They're not saying that he wasn't guilty. They're not saying he's innocent. They're just saying his rights were violated. And so they threw it out of court and released him. Now, I don't know whether they're going to relitigate, and they very well may. And they may appeal it also. So we'll see how this story, plays out. It's pretty strange, though. It's pretty strange. Another thing that's happened this week is that the Arizona Supreme Court, let me just take a look here on my little iPad. The Arizona Supreme Court has upheld some legal decisions around voting laws and some voting restrictions. And a lot of people are thinking that the Voting Rights Act from back in the 60s is hanging on by a thread. Well, that thread's just about cut all the way through. I'm not exactly abreast of everything that's going on there. But it's pretty dire when people, are making laws to keep other people from voting. I mean, that's the basis of our democracy. So it's disheartening at best. It's disheartening. I mean, if a certain political party thinks that the only way they can win is by keeping people from voting, that's a problem. And, the Republican Party for a long time now has not been running on policy, but on culture values more. And political parties should be about policy. And they don't have policy. And so, they're finding it very difficult to dialogue when it comes to policy because they don't have them there. So it's a problem for the Republicans are going to have to figure out, because simply limiting people from voting, to me, is not a solution for winning political contests, nor is gerrymandering. I mean, you shouldn't have to, do stuff like that to win. You should win based on your policies and your representation for the people in your district. That's what it should be about, not about getting some people to not vote, right? It seems weird to me. Some good news as far as I'm concerned, the Attorney General, Merrick Garland, has said that all federal executions will cease. They're going to stop all federal executions. Under the previous administration and Attorney General Bill Barr, they had started executing people in federal prisons. So that's good. I think it's good. I am totally against the death penalty for just a variety of reasons. So I think that's a great thing to stop that. So that's good news. That is really good news. Then let's see what's happened here. Come here. Here we go. There's one more thing that they did. Oh yeah. Yep. What they also did was they said for California that big donors charities didn't have to reveal the names of big donors. So it's another win for dark money, right? To participate in our elections anonymously, right? Which also, a lot of people see that as being undemocratic. I mean, we should know. I mean, if someone who is funding a person's campaign or a law that's up for vote or a proposition, who's funding it? Who's behind it? A lot of times when I'm evaluating propositions, and local stuff and state stuff, I go to who's funding it. who's supporting it and who's funding it. To me, that says volumes, especially when I can't understand the language of the bill. I look at who's, and so does it line up with my values or does it not line up with my values? But if you don't know, they don't have to tell you who's paying for it, right? What are you going to do? So, I think as a democracy, we've got a lot of work cut out for us to make things more transparent and equal, and fair, so that when we vote, no matter whether it's for a person or a policy, that our vote really counts, and that everybody has an opportunity to weigh in. It's one vote. One vote doesn't mean anything, but a lot of one votes do. So we'll see how that goes. There's just a lot going on, an awful lot going on. Oh, and for someone like me, it kind of weighs heavy, simply because I care about the people who live in this country. I care about the people who live to the north and to the south of us. And we have to think globally. You read accounts of countries in the world that can't afford to pay for the vaccine. We have people who are, choosing not to take the vaccine, and we've got other countries who are begging for the vaccine and can't get it. That's a global inequity, and I don't know what the solution is, but a pandemic is a global problem, and so we should work globally to solve it. And as long as there are countries that are having major problems with the virus, then we're not out of the woods, because we are a global communities, whether we like it or not. I'm all for borders to a degree, but we can't, you can't build a wall to keep a virus out. Just can't do that. So I hope that the powers that be that make these kinds of decisions choose. And I think we're seeing small movements towards that. Choose to help out nations, especially developing countries that just don't have the budget to pay for the vaccines. I hope that's how it goes. So what I'm going to do now is let me get the phone lines hooked up and see if anybody wants to call in. So first of all, we've done that, and that's all good. So it's all set up. So I got to get it to the page with okay. We got that going. So let me put these banners up, because this is what it's all about. There we go. There we go. There we go. So if you feel like it, you can call in and you will be live. Everyone can hear you, and we can chat. You can ask a question or make a comment, say hello and then say goodbye. And that'd be fun, right? And you can see the number on your screen. Number is area code 916-545-5376. And I'll leave it open for a few minutes and see if anybody gets the inclination. Maybe if I did this at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, there'd be people who would want to call in because they got nothing else to do, wide awake and nothing else to do, at least here. 1 o'clock in the morning here is not 1 o'clock in the morning everywhere. But anyway, people here, bored. Let's call this number, see what's going on. I'll say something stupid. They'll say something stupid. We'll have fun. Or they can just listen to me. Jibber jabber. I like that term, jibber jabber. I jibber jabber. So anyway, yeah. So if you're here and you haven't yet said hello, please say hello so I can say hello back. Just leave a comment. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So if you're watching from Facebook, that'd be cool to know. If you're watching from YouTube, that'd be good to know. And if you're watching from Twitch, that'd be super to know, because I don't know that anybody's actually watching from Twitch. Because one of the things about YouTube and Facebook is you can set this up in advance and notify people, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think Twitch allows for that. So I don't know. I'm just not good at PR work. I'm not good at promoting myself. I just, here's some comments. I'm just not good at it. So, hey, Cheryl. Awesome. Awesome possum. You guys, you're surviving the heat. I hope you're surviving the heat. Well, you're obviously surviving the heat or you wouldn't have left that comment. So you're definitely surviving the heat. So that's good. It's awfully good to hear from you. Yeah, Uli, you can do a relationship consulting show at 1 to 2 a.m. Yeah, all the advice I think I'd give is go to bed. Go to bed. Just go to bed. Go to bed. Go to bed. Yeah, really. Because I am so good at relationships. That's why I'm single. Because I'm the person to give advice, definitely. If anyone's going to give advice on relationships, that would be me. Because what I can tell you is what not to do. That I can tell you. Other than that, you'd be better off like reading the Sunday Funnies, honestly. Yeah, but then, but the other side of the coin is to do a show at 1 or 2 a.m. It means I'd have to be awake. And that happens sometimes. I will wake up in the middle of the night, 3:30, get up, make a cup of coffee. And here's what I do. I get up, I make a cup of coffee, and then I go back to bed because by the time I'm done with that coffee, I am really tired. And I'll just go back to bed. Go figure. And I'll sleep for another 3 hours. So the other night, oh my goodness, I think I might have said this. I'm not sure. But what happened was, here's what happened. I was kind of tired. I forget what day it was exactly. And I went down to the local brew pub. It's called Capital Hop Shop. If you've never been, I suggest it. There's especially if you like beer, because they've got all these different kinds of beers from all these different breweries, right? And they got great food. And it was an old car garage, automotive place. And so they've got these doors that roll up all the way. And so it's all fresh air, especially right now because it's warm. When it gets too hot, the doors come down, the AC comes on. But when it's nice out, like it is right now, doors are up, fresh air, good food, good beers. Well, they've got this one beer, and it's a peanut butter stout, and I love it. Oh, it's so good. Well, normally what I do is I just order a beer and something to eat and then close it out. This time I said, no, leave it open. I think I'll have 2 beers. So I had 2 beers, these stouts, right? So I'm like, oh man, I am really feeling sleepy. So I walk home, right? I get home and I'm sitting down and I think I'm looking at something on the computer. And I realize that my lights are going out quickly. And it was about 4:30, 4 o'clock, somewhere in there, right? So I lay down to take a nap. And the next thing I know, I open my eyes. It's about 11 in the evening. And I'm not, I don't have any energy to get up. So I just close my eyes. I fall back asleep and I don't wake up till 7:30 in the morning the next day. I was tired. I was really, really tired, So I sometimes stay up late. I think probably that's what, normally I wake up early, 3:30, 4 o'clock, 4:30. I will wake up every day. So if I stay up late, then I'm not getting enough sleep and I get sleep deprived and then I take a nap and then that nap is, whatever. But that's the story of my life, And I don't know. I've heard that when people get older, they don't need as much sleep as usual. I also have read that back before electric lights, it was normal for people to sleep for a little while and then wake up like around midnight or so, get up and do things for a while, and then go back to bed. That was normal. That was normal. And so maybe I'm just falling into a normal habit. So the name of the brew pub is called Capital Hop Shop. It's on the corner of 15th and I. And it used to be an old automotive garage. And they've turned it into this brew pub. They've got great food and great beers. And like I said, the doors roll up, these big garage doors roll up, and it's all open, and they've got indoor and outdoor seating. And they've got, like today, they've got all these sports channels, right? Today I watched women's diving, and they were Olympic trials. And these, and oh my gosh, oh yeah, we should, Cheryl, let's talk about this. Yes, let's do that. That'd be a great idea. And so I watched this women's diving competition. They were trying out for the Olympics. And oh my gosh, they were so good. And you could just see that they were so strong. These were like the best athletes the country has, at least for diving. And the young woman that took first place, she qualified first. So there were two qualifiers, both phenomenal people. But the one that got the most points, she was like ahead of everybody else by more than 50 points. It was really phenomenal. And people were getting in the 60s and low 70s. And her second to last dive, she got in the mid 80s. No one had been doing that. Nobody. And then on her last dive, they didn't even put up her marks. But I could see in the expression of the people's faces that were spectators that it was incredibly high. I bet you she got some 90s. I'll bet you. Anyway, it was a double back flip with a double twist. And it was perfect. And I always marvel at what the human body can do when it's honed to that type of perfection. Hey, Ruben, welcome aboard. Aloha. Welcome aboard. I need to have my Seder's cap. I'll have it somewhere. And a little bell. Ding, ding. Yeah. Having a good day. One of the things that, I know Ruben and Uli have a show that they produce called Welcome to My Brain on Wednesday nights at 9 on Twitch and Facebook. I don't know about you guys, but, I have these two Lume Cube lights in front of me and I get hot. I mean, I'm like, but if I run my AC, which is right here, it's too noisy, right? I've got a desk fan. I may pull it out and just hook the desk fan up. So at least I'm getting some blown air. But when I blow the air, of course, it blows this vinyl background and it really spoils the illusion. There's got to be a happy medium somewhere. Maybe I'll tape ice cubes to my feet and that'll work. I don't know. I'll figure something out. Anyway, yeah. So here's the deal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and we're going to close the phone line because that's what I can do. So let me just close it up real quick. There we go. And we'll pop this off like this and bye-bye. And then we'll say goodbye to our phone and bye-bye phone. So while I'm talking here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find the beginning of where the third section begins and see if we can, oh, there it is. And okay, so this is going to be the tail end of the Chico organ leading into the Grass Valley organ. And first up will be a video talking about that organ. This was a last minute video that was shot. When I got it, I felt it was completely unusable. But we turned lemons into lemonade. And let me pull it up here and share it with you. So I'll share with you the opening and the video, and then the first piece of the first selection, which is Pachelbel. Many people know Pachelbel, the canon in D, I forget. But anyway, I mean, it's famous, right? Well, this is variations. The Pachelbel variations thing, there's like 7 of them. It goes on forever. It's really long. We're not going to listen to that. So let me go ahead and pull this up, and we'll give this a lesson. But first, let's check out and see what the crew is here. Space Pants. You know what? That's in response to me being too hot. I'm actually thinking no pants might be the way to go. You know, anything below here, you can't see it. So who knows, right? As far as that may, you know, I don't know, space pants. I don't even know what space pants are. Yes, let's do that, and we'll run through it. I've often thought about making a video running through the whole thing. But yeah, let's connect. Let's connect, Ruben, and we'll go over hooking that up. And if you're comfortable, well, are you on a Mac or are you on a PC? That's the first question. Because if you're on a Mac, you do one thing. If you're on a PC, you do something else. So, and I know the Mac process. But I know where to find the PC process. So, and it's a lot simpler than it probably sounds, and it works if you work it right, it works right. Go figure, right? Okay, so let's take a look at this real briefly here. So once again, this is going to be on about the third. You're on a Mac. Okay, that makes it super simple, Ruben. So hang on a second. Let's go ahead and watch this video, and then we'll be back and we'll talk about that a little bit. Now, I'm assuming everyone can hear this. No, the answer was no. So in that case, let's stop her here. Let's move it back. Okay. So once again, this is a fail on Chris's part. When I talk to the StreamYard folks, I'm going to make a request to make that share audio button a little bit bigger, because there's people like me that always forget to click that. So let's do this. So this is the ending piece. I forget the name of it. It doesn't matter. Let's see if we can get a little bit closer here. Okay, that's Randy. There he is. And I think we'll go right there. Hope you got sound now. Cool. Thanks, Cheryl.
So the organ in Grass Valley at Grace Lutheran Church is installed by Bigelow in 1992, just after the new building itself was built, so they both roughly from the same time period. What's interesting about this organ is its tracker, of course, is it's got these levers on it, And it makes it so that most of the stops are available on either manual or the credits. And so if you move the lever up, it plays on the top manual. If you move the lever down, it plays on the bottom manual. There's also couplers, so it's surprisingly versatile. For just a 14 reg organ, you can do quite a lot of things. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. It has a really nice single stern, and I wanted to use it in this demonstration, but I couldn't find an excuse. But it's just beautiful, and it's loud enough. It's actually pneumatic, so you can, if you don't pull out the knob all the way, it'll actually be a little bit quieter and slower. But when you pull it out all the way, you can hear it over the full organ during the song tunes or anything that you're playing. It's kind of fun. It's a really good organ for the space that way. Other than that, I don't have a lot of other insight to the instrument. It's I'm pretty sure it was the only Tracker craft organ in Nevada County, maybe still, but it certainly was in 1992. It's a real destination instrument. They love it, and they sing at this church, and it's a wonderful place to play.
So there you get a taste of that movie. It was a lot of fun. So I get this video, right? And so that was Capitol Hop Shop where they filmed it. So my buddy Rex was meeting with Randy, who was the organist, but he was meeting with them over something else. And they knew they were going to shoot this video. He said, well, why don't we just shoot it here? And when I got the video, I was like, oh, the noise was so intense. We got a PC's war going here, a PC war here, PC versus Mac. I love that. Oh, thank you, Ruben. Thank you. So I get this, and I'm like, what am I? So I'm working with the sound. I'm trying to filter out. So I just can't get it to where it's understandable. I mean, I get a few words, but it's just, I can't show this to people. Are you kidding me? I thought, why didn't you just call me? I could put a lapel mic on him and use my field recorder. We could get nice, clear audio. But that wasn't going to happen. And I thought, subtitles. Let's do subtitles. So I figured out a way to do it. Subtitles they're not hard. They're just time consuming. Because first you have to write out the text of what the person's saying. And then you've got to, put it in there in time sequence to go with the dialogue. So as I love to do, I went to YouTube. I said, you know what? You can find almost anything you want to know on YouTube. So I put in what I'm looking for. This video comes up on how to do subtitles with iMovie. Sure enough, he was explaining, it was a guy, he was explaining exactly what I thought I was going to be doing. And then up in the right-hand corner, it flashes an easier way to do subtitling. I'm like, okay, I like easy. Yes, I love easy. So I pushed on it, and so check it out. There's some software, right? There's a website you can go to, and you can load the clip. It will generate, using AI, it will generate the subtitles. Then once you've got it, then you go in there because it makes mistakes. And in this case, it made a lot of mistakes because it couldn't understand what was being said either. So, but I was able to go in, and after multiple listenings, eventually I figured out what was being said. We typed it all in, and it produced, I think, nice subtitles. And it's the free version. The free version only allowed to load short clips. So I couldn't like load the whole video and do the whole video in subtitles, which would be nice for the vocal point part for people who are deaf or hearing impaired. And I'm always thinking about that. Even with live video, it's like, apparently there's a way to do closed caption or subtitles live, But from what I understand, yeah, it's costly because you have to contract with another corporation. Someone's got to be live with me and typing while I talk, right? Because I'm not going to give them the script of what I'm going to say because I don't know what I'm going to say. So it's a long way to go still. But and once YouTube, I think once Tube is loaded and recorded, right? It's archived. If you watch it, you can turn on the closed caption, and it does a pretty good job, I think, of putting up what the person is saying. So that's good at least. So live doesn't work, but anyway. So I had a lot of fun putting it together, and it was shot in Capitol Hop Shop. So I wanted to warn people that this was going to be a departure from what they had seen already. So that's why I put this was filmed in a brew pub, just to prepare them for what they were about to experience. And that was a lot of fun. Great experience too, filming this thing. And the Pachelbel variations, there were like 7 of them. So he goes through all of them, right? And he's like, I don't like the last 2. Can we do the last 2 over? And I'm like, okay. That means I'm going to have to cut and splice, and oh God, you just made my life more difficult. And I said, okay, no problem. I can do it. I can do it. Well, and it was obvious. The break was really obvious. Now, how do I, it's just creative. How do I make the break less obvious? And I figured out how to do a transition. So it's, there's some kind of a transition is taking place, but it's not obvious that it's not part of that original series of variations. And I thought it came out nicely, but I learned a lot of things. A lot of the footage, a lot of the still photos that I used, I pulled off the internet. And what I learned is in the future, making a video, is that I really map out all the different shots, photos, camera angles, everything that I want in advance, so that when I'm at the location, I can take all those pictures, put them in a file, and then have them available when I create the movie. So I learned a bunch of good stuff. Whether I'll ever do it again remains to be seen. I don't know. When I find the trailer, I don't know that I don't have enough time this week to do it, but next week I'll try to see if I can find the correct trailer with the correct music. Because when I made the trailer using iMovie, it had stock music underneath it, and Rex, the director, didn't like that. He wanted a certain organ music, and I'm like, okay, I'll see what I can do. And I found a free version of it, and I was able to insert that new music in. So I want to find that one to share, but because that was probably one of the most fun things I did, and it was so simple. But someday, and maybe I'll make a movie of my own. Who knows? Could be. But anyway, so we're drawing up on the hour. It's gone real quickly, and probably because I showed a bunch of video, right? I didn't do a lot of talking this time. So I've had a blast, and I've enjoyed seeing all of you and chatting with all of you. Ruben and Cheryl will connect on getting a beer soon. I know this is the 4th of July weekend, so people are probably busy, but maybe even after work some evening. That's very possible. And Ruben will connect also, and we'll go over the actually, if you want to meet up somewhere, we can do that, so you can actually get a hands-on. Be a lot easier than trying to, so let's connect, figure out how we're going to do all that, and we'll figure out how to do the phone thing. Okie dokes. All right, so everybody, thanks again for joining, whether you're here live or whether you're watching the video. I appreciate you all very, very much. And try to stay cool, stay safe this weekend. Don't light any fires. It's going to be a really rough fire season, so be careful with the fireworks. And I will see you all again in a week from tonight, 7 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, Thursday nights. All right. This is checking out.